You know, someone said that frickin' Panera's Pepsi's taste funny.
Better.
No, I mean,
What?
Yeah, that's what we were like. We were like, we mean this in like a fun, competitive way, but like,
Anyway, welcome everybody to the Average Intelligence Podcast. Do not worry, Justin. Nobody has any idea who you're speaking of.
no, no, I'm
It's okay. It's all. But
all,
I
all,
wonder
all,
why
all love. It's all love.
I got notified on my phone, but not on my tablet. This is weird because I'm just gonna
I
make
saw a
sure that you can.
notification pop up.
Yeah, but my tablet. Yeah, our audio is good, but for some reason my tablet like takes forever to get notifications. So I
Was that
have
fireworks I just heard? Sorry.
I have the junkiest of Samsung tablets.
Oh, I have the junkiest of Samsung phones, so it's okay. Oh yeah, I
Oh,
see we're live. Let's go ahead and like that. Share
yes, we
that.
are we are most definitely live, but for some reason my tablet's not cooperating, so I will do my best to look at the chat on my phone. But anyway, welcome. Welcome everybody to the Average Intelligence Podcast. Sorry
I'm
we're a
sorry.
little late.
I
Sorry
just saw
we're
the
a little late.
thumbnail.
I'm proud of that thumbnail.
That is a solid thumbnail. That is solid. I respect it. That's good.
Why are you being so stupid? Okay, now I think it's responding. But anyway, welcome to the Average Intelligence Podcast. No, I am not an MLB super fan. Stop trying to get me to watch baseball. There we go. Tonight's
But
podcast is brought to you by WWE Supercard. Yeah, and by our friends at the Spur of the Moment podcast. I completely, because I saw a TikTok video, I completely redid how I do my Macho Man.
oh yeah,
And
I can't do it, the Macho Man.
I gotta say it's better. Because before I was using my secondary vocal cords to like, you know, down there. But then I saw another guy do it, and I'm like, oh, he just goes deeper. Like, yeah, because you don't have the thing about Macho Man is you don't have to scream, yeah, but then you get excited and then you can bring it in.
See,
But
for me, Macho Man is really, really gravelly. I'm not. See, for me,
that's
it's always
later. To
bone saws ready. That's my Macho. That's my
But
Macho Man
see, to be
impression.
fair, that's later. That's later Macho Man. Early Macho Man is the one that's like, what's up? And I love how the guy said, because he's a comedian, he was like, I always just did my Macho Man as like a dad who was like really angry, but trying not to yell in front of the other kids. He's like, they own you to pick up your boys. Yeah. And I'm like, yes, that's how early Macho Man sounds.
For me, it's bone saw and step into a Slim Jim. It's
See,
those
but
two.
yeah, that's later.
Yeah,
That's
but that's
later.
I'm a child of the '90s, Jake. That's
Hey,
where all
I
the pop culture reference comes from.
Not hating it, but don't worry, stick around because the WWE Supercard promo will be brought to you by Macho Man. Yeah. Um, but if you want more Macho Man and a very bad Macho Man impression, check out our earlier episode, Ken's Destroy the Barbie movie. There is a surprise visit from Macho Man Randy Savage to teach everyone a lesson about egalitarianism.
We all need
Bet
that
you,
lesson.
bet you never thought you'd hear that in a sentence.
I never did. I can say I didn't.
I gotta say, I'm very proud of that gag because when we were coming up, which first of all, that episode is almost entirely ad-libbed. Like there's only a couple of gags
Nice.
that we talked about before. In hindsight, we really should have done it differently, but whatever. But the reason I'm really proud of that episode is because we knew we wanted to have Ken dolls come in and hijack a Barbie doing a Barbie movie review. But I felt like it just wasn't funny enough. I felt like there needed to be something a bit more outrageous, and I wanted to I wanted to turn the whole um like equality between the sexes. I wanted to turn that into an inversion joke, so to speak. So I was like, what's the best way to turn this on its head? And initially I thought Hulk Hogan,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I can swear you went there. Yeah.
but I can't really do Hulk Hogan.
Not really.
So
When
then I
Hulk
was
Hogan,
like,
oh, I was about to do a really bad joke. Hulk Hogan can't do Hulk Hogan anymore.
this is, ooh, that's too sensitive for late night
I,
these days, but I promise we'll get there. We'll
gee.
get there. We'll get there. But so then I thought, and we have the running gag of Eric for years thinking that the line in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man is Bonesaw is relieved instead of Bonesaw is ready. So I was like, it's perfect. So you would not believe how hard it is to find a Macho Man Randy Savage action figure when you actually like need one.
I mean, what do you say? The kids aren't down for the Macho Man these days.
It was terrible, dude. I ended up buying it online, but I went to like six different places because it barely made it. It barely made it on time.
I mean, I'm
From
not surprised you couldn't find it. I am a little surprised you couldn't find it in person. Sure, to be fair, I'm like, surely there's a Toys R Us somewhere.
No,
Wow.
they're all gone. Toy stores
No,
don't
and
exist anymore, dude.
this is true. In stores don't exist anymore. Just,
It's
if I want to
sad.
buy something in store, I have to buy it on the internet. I don't buy it on the internet.
And thank you for the awesome segue because you know what else doesn't exist anymore?
Late night?
Good. Well, it exists, but it's not good. Like,
No, no,
and
no. Okay, well, okay. Well, okay. Here's my thing, right? I don't think late night. This is my hot take. I don't think late night was ever good. I think it was
no,
always that
I'll
era's level of cringe.
I'll counter you on that because, and I was going to bring this up later because I was going to ask the audience, who's your favorite late night host if you have one? Um, did you ever watch
Currently,
the? Yeah, or no? Period.
like I was gonna say, is none of the above an option?
Yes, it is.
Period. Ooh, It depends on how old I am. Because when I was younger, I was really into Letterman. I loved his top 10
Really?
list. I loved his top 10 list. I thought it was really funny.
I
As I've gotten
never.
older, I fucking love Conan. I love Conan so much.
My appreciation for Conan increases every year.
I didn't
Um,
appreciate him enough when he was on because I was really into the drama of him being on the Tonight Show. So like my friend went to watch him when he did that tour, that not allowed to be on TV tour. She went to that tour. So I was that's when I kind of discovered him as a comedian.
I think the first time I realized I really, really liked Conan O'Brien's deal was I saw, and this was years after they did them, I saw his ride-along videos with Ice Cube and Kevin Hart.
Oh, those are good. Those are solid.
Those are so funny.
His Clueless Gamer videos are always make me laugh. I mean, one of my favorite Conans is when he did I Love Archer. So he did a crossover with Archer where Archer just drags him along on an Archer adventure, and it's genuinely funny. Also, like yeah, I love the Mac and Me joke. It's really funny. But you brought up in a private message, you brought up Craig Ferguson, and I did enjoy Craig Ferguson.
Craig
I did enjoy
Ferguson,
him.
listen, I'm telling you right now, I think it's a crime. Now, granted,
He left on his terms though.
that's what I was going to ask is I don't know if he quit, didn't renew a contract, or if he got fired.
No,
Um,
he was like, I've done all there is to do. I'm done. It was one of those deals. Because I
see, I
remember he got a big
disagree.
send off.
Yeah, I disagree wholeheartedly because okay, so here's what chapters I was gonna say. I have bias here because I've never really been huge into late night at all. Like
I don't
I'd
think anyone
seen,
has.
well, no, I knew people that talked like my old roommate was a devout watcher of Conan O'Brien.
But like when you say devout watcher, like stayed up, watched it
Yes,
live, or PVR'd it and watched it the next morning.
no, we didn't have
Oh, facts. Because my
DVR.
thing is, I've only ever watched late night on the internet. Like
Ah,
I've watched late night since I was 15, 16 years old.
you're
That's
a
when I
touch
started
younger
watching.
though.
Yeah, so I only ever watched late night in clips on YouTube. I've never stayed up to watch late night in my other than when I used to work late night shifts and it was the only thing on TV. I never watched late night. So to me, like I watched Last Week Tonight. It's one of my favorite late night shows, but I watch it on Crave the next morning.
Well, see, yeah, that's actually pretty good. I'm not a huge John Oliver fan, but I like his bit.
He's quite a bit more balanced than I find than a lot of those guys. Like, don't get me wrong, he's still as a left leaning guy, he's still on my side of the fence. But it's less like, and also his jokes are funny. Um,
That's just it. It's like
I've
just
stolen
make
a
me
lot of his
laugh.
jokes. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Just make me laugh, funny man. But no, so
Dance, monkey, dance.
funnily enough, see the thumbnail. Um,
Yeah.
but here's the thing. So my bias is I was never really a devout late night watcher. I'd seen Leno in passing. I'd seen
Oh, I
um
never liked Leno.
I never really cared for, and this is sacrilegious where I live. I never cared for Letterman. Now,
I could
granted,
see, I
I
could see
didn't
why.
watch. I didn't watch a ton of Letterman, but what I did see, I was kind of like, eh. Like I didn't hate it, but I didn't really get the
In retrospect, I don't care for him much now. But at the time, yeah, I liked his top 10 lists. I thought they were funny. I've got a slew of them in my in my favorite YouTube videos.
sure, but it's sacrilegious here because he's from here. Like so,
Oh yeah, yeah.
everybody here loves Letterman, and I'm like,
And
I don't.
I did quite like his I watched a few episodes of his
His interview
conversation with.
show, yeah. Now
Yeah, that's actually quite good.
that I cared for. I did not hate that. But my point being, not I was never a big fan of late night until I just so happened. I forget why. I forget why I tuned into the Late Late Show with Craig Ferguson. It was because somebody was going to be on there, and I was like, yeah, I actually really want to watch this. And it's like I wish I could remember who it was, but I came for that, and I stayed for Craig because I'm like,
Yeah.
holy shit, this guy's
He,
hilarious.
one of my he's got one of my like for me for select comedians I've got favorite bits that they have, and he's got one of my all-time favorite ones from I wish I could remember the special, but he's talking about how people say that doing having drugs that you take for medicinal reasons is like having a crutch. It's like, oh, he's only taking that drug because it's a crutch. It's like, yes, of course it's a crutch. You wouldn't walk up and run up to a guy who was on a crutch and kick the crutch out from under him and be like, it's only a crutch. And it's so his delivery is so good, so funny. He was very funny. His stand up is so good.
I
So yeah,
would, yeah.
I another one of those in retrospect. I appreciate him.
Well, that okay, so that explains to me how who's it's Colbert who has the Tonight Show, right? Now?
Yes.
Okay.
No, he's got the Late Show.
The Late
He
Show,
took
yeah.
over for Letterman.
Who has Tonight?
That's Jimmy Fallon. I think Jimmy
That's
Fallon is
right.
awful.
See,
I think he's
okay, I
terrible.
will I this is for Haley because Haley really likes Jimmy Fallon. Now, okay,
Oh, really?
Jimmy,
I have a
here's the thing.
reason for it though.
Jimmy Fallon and I have a history, but it's a one-sided history. So, on this very podcast, a few years ago, I incorrectly espoused my hatred for Jimmy Fallon. Now, I don't particularly like Jimmy Fallon, but I was getting him confused with Chris Kattan, who I have never forgiven for them film Corky Romano. And film is a strong word. It's film
All
in the
right.
sense that it is a moving picture.
Okay.
But
I
I got
mean,
them
but not at the
confused.
Roxbury, Jake. That movie's quite good.
No, I can't stand Chris Kattan. I just can't. But here's the point though.
Fair
I
enough.
got him confused with Jimmy Fallon for years because I just did. And here's the funny part. The short exists on the channel because I called myself out. At one point, I brought it up again, and Eric said, he's like, I don't think that's Jimmy Fallon, dude. I'm like, no, no, you can quote me. I was like, it'll be really funny if I mess this up. And then I added to it later. I'm like, yeah, it turns out I need to publicly apologize to Jimmy
You did
Fallon.
that.
But,
You did that freeze frame.
well, yeah, of course, everybody likes Jimmy Fallon more than Kimmel.
See. I actually like Kimmel.
What? Okay,
That's gonna be
hold
my
on.
hot take.
Hold on. Put a pin in that. We'll come back to that.
Now, I don't like current Kimmel so much, but
Okay, well, that's fair.
overall,
That's fair. But
I
hang on.
can justify it if you like.
We'll,
We'll put a pin in
we'll
it.
put a pin in that. We'll come back. Um, but anyway, Jimmy Fallon. Jimmy Fallon is not it's not my cup of tea, but I'm not going to go so far as to say he's bad because what he does, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that he's the most popular late night host on right now. I don't think that's an unfair statement.
Yes, but here's my thing. Here's my crapple. My thing with late night overall is late night is dying not because of a
Yes.
content problem, but because the internet exists.
Well, I
And
think it's both. I'm not going to lie.
my
I think it's both. It's mostly technology, though. You're right.
the thing about old media never adapts to new media. So just as YouTube has not adapted to TikTok, television and late night did not adapt to YouTube, all television did was rip off YouTube. And Fallon drives me crazy because he's months late to TikTok trends. So he'll post shitty viral videos that get millions of views that are just trends. And I like there was an episode where he just ripped off Hot Ones, like straight up wholesale whole cloth stole Hot Ones because Hot Ones was more popular, so we stole it. And I don't respect that. And once people start pointing out the fake laughing and the fact that he's clearly a fucking drunk who can't keep his sloppy shit together, like there was that whole run where he got drunk, broke his arm, and had a broken arm on the show, and he's just known for being a drunk. Like I don't really care for him.
So wait,
But like
that's not coffee.
no, he's like there's a rumor that he literally used to drink on the show. I don't think he does anymore, but there was like a rumor that he was awful, like that he was mean to his staff and he would show up drunk.
Okay, Haley says her list of late night hosts from best to worst: Conan, surprising
Fair.
but not too surprising. Conan, Fallon, Colbert, Myers, and all the way at the bottom is Kimmel. However, Haley, have you ever watched Craig Ferguson? Because I have a feeling he would be probably number
He's pretty
three on
solid.
your list, number two or
Now,
three.
um, yeah, when late night hosts just complain about Trump a bunch,
Yeah,
it
that's
gets old. So that's what kind of Kimmel became. Kimmel was doing like the fake crying and the I can't stand that. But if I go like I used to watch Kimmel like I'm fucking Matt Damon. Like I'm
okay. That was funny.
the bumping Matt Damon. There's a bunch of Matt Damon related jokes that are funny. Like there's one where it's Ben Affleck. He comes onto the show and he's wearing this suit and he's got
I've seen
Matt
it.
Damon
Okay,
hidden in it.
that's pretty
Yeah,
funny. I'm
like
not gonna
that's
lie.
funny. But like yeah, when Fallon's just ripping off the internet, it's not funny. It's like I saw this weeks ago on the internet when it was funny, or when he's
But
interviewing TikTok people who you don't know who they are.
but you must understand one thing, and I'm not condoning it, but I'm saying this is the reason why. Fallon is not trying to, well, and he should be trying to appeal to that TikTok crowd, but that TikTok crowd already has the trends. He is trying to appeal to, honestly, the people in my age group who, like, we're online, but we're not
Th-
completely online 24/7
Fair.
all the time. Because
I,
there's a
I
lot of
think it's
TikTok trends I find out about through other media, and then I'm like, what? And then I turn it
I,
off because I'm like, what
I like there's the occasional episode of Fallon, yeah, where he's like interviewing internet people and he clearly has no idea who they are, and he
well,
does that. You
that's
could
why it's funny.
it's just like he does it, but he's doing that. Like, he's pretending. Hey, you know the meme of Steve Buscemi being like, hey, you kids." That's what it is a lot of the time. And to be fair to Fallon, he's crazy popular on the internet. Like he's super popular. His shit does crazy well on the internet, and that's where their success is. Like Conan became super popular once he got onto the internet, and I think that's where a lot of these guys want to be. Like I think they want to
Conan,
be on the
I'm
internet.
gonna give credit where credit's due because I was late to the Conan appreciation game. Conan was, I would venture to guess, Conan was the first late night host to realize that the internet was where it was at.
Yes,
And I
absolutely,
and I think
completely.
he lost out on some of the TV share, but he'll end up with the last laugh because he is currently, as of right now, in my humble opinion, I think he is the only late night host right now that is actually funny. And part of that is
Yeah,
Conan's never really gotten he's never really gotten obnoxiously political. Like he'll get political to make a joke.
yeah, but his political jokes are funny. Like
That's what I mean.
like
But he's oh him and Greg Gutfeld from. I'm not surprised by that. I am surprised that Greg Gutfeld has a show.
ew.
But
I mean that would involve Greg Gutfield being funny.
well, I mean we can all dream, Justin.
I've never seen a clip of his that didn't make me cringe. But
He's funny.
okay,
Oh, okay, here's the thing though. You have to understand. Gutfeld is funny for Fox News.
yeah, but to be fair, I find all right-wing comedy to be cringe. So like I'm a bad case study. So like I don't know if you've seen the Roseanne Barr her last comedy special that I think it aired on Fox. It was the most embarrassing thing I've ever. It's like the okay, when I say right-wing comedy, I feel like I need to come on here and clarify what I mean by that. That's like the same
Yeah,
three
especially on
jokes
this
they
show because everybody for some reason thinks we're a Republican
but
podcast.
it's the I identify as kiss my ass or I identify as blank joke. It's the it's the sociological major with the blue haircut, the gender studies major with the blue haircut. It's the I can't say whatever I want anymore joke.
I
Like
mean,
it's the same
Justin,
three jokes.
Justin, if the gender neutral shoe fits,
Like that's funny. That's the best trans comedy I've seen is from actual trans people who actually know how to make fun of trans people in a way that's actually kind of funny. Just being like, or when I grew up, it was the I identify as an attack helicopter. That's what the
see,
joke was,
okay,
and it was
I'm
like,
by. I like that joke. I'm not gonna lie.
right, I like that joke when I was 16. Now it's for me, it's just like everyone's got a version of it. It's like, oh my God,
This
or
is
I should
true.
say every
I did
right-leaning comedian has
enjoy.
a variation of it, I should
Yeah,
say.
I did enjoy Rob Schneider. Now I haven't watched all of it, but I did enjoy Rob Schneider's kind of newer stuff. But that okay, so his is less of a stand-up set and more of like a political lecture with humor injected into it, which to be fair, I kind of dig those. I actually really, really like things like that.
I saw
But
one of his comedy specials and it was rough. But it was called Hot and Cold and it was bad. I watched 30 minutes of it. It was terrible.
and take my opinion with a grain of salt because I do not and have never found Kevin Hart's stand up funny at all. I've
Oh,
never.
his stuff is mixed for me. It is kind of, but someone gave me shit for liking Jeff Foxworthy years ago. So
Oh, dude. Okay, I'm gonna say this right now. This might be a hot take for some. Jeff Foxworthy. Oh, I'm sorry. I totally thought you said Jeff Dunham, but no, Jeff Foxworthy is good too.
I like the blue
Jeff
collar. I have
Foxworthy is
all the
great.
blue collar comedy tour movies. I
Dude, the
love
Blue
them. Ron
Collar
White is one
Comedy
of my
Tour is
favorite.
gold. Bill Engvall is so funny.
He's so funny. Okay. The second movie. The joke about the sailor with the brown pants. I got that joke from that movie, and I tell it at parties all the time. It's my favorite. If someone's like, "Tell me a joke," that's my go-to joke. That
That's a good
and that
joke.
and the a couple of the oh no, that and the Ron White one about the parrot. How'd you make the ship disappear? I tell those jokes all the time because they're funny. Like they're funny jokes, and
I really appreciate the newer Ron. Like, don't get me wrong, he was funny in Blue Collar, but man,
his stuff has gotten so sharp.
when he got much older, I mean, like he really flipped. Like
When he
he,
became cigar Ron White, and he wasn't just cigarette Ron White anymore. For me, that was when it was like, oh, that's good shit. But are you familiar with Russell Peters?
the name's ringing a bell, but I can't.
Oh, he's an Indian Canadian Indian comedian, and I've been sitting on a video about him for a while where I'm like, is he funny? But if you don't know who he
Is
is,
he
it's
the
like,
guy who does the "Hi, how are you" joke?
no, I
I
think that's
love
Russell
that joke.
Howard. Russell Peters is an Indian comedian. His whole bit is he
Oh,
doesn't.
dot, not feather.
Yeah, dot not feather. Yeah. um, but okay, late night. Do you consider Jon Stewart and John Oliver late night, or Bill
No,
Maher for that
well,
matter?
no, because okay, when I say late night, what I'm talking about is late night entertainment.
Like
So
talk show?
it's, but not an entertainment talk show. So like your Tonight Show, like your Late Show, like those guys that
Right.
talk about like movies and music and entertainment that's coming out. Bill Maher is like it's late night, but his is a political show. It's a little bit different because his
I
is
watched
inherently political.
his is another one I watch on YouTube. But
I do enjoy Bill Maher and Eric. God bless him. He just can't get into Bill Maher, and
really,
I've always enjoyed Bill Maher.
I think it would to be fair. I made videos where I went after him. I called him an asshole. I've called him an asshole several times because he is one.
Well, sure,
He's
but
he's like
he would say that.
yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, I tried watching one episode of his show and it was awful. Like it was like it was so disorganized. The beginning of it was like he has a monologue, he has an interview section, and then he stops the interview cold so he could just talk into the camera. I think that's a segment that's called New Rule, and it was so disorganized. I'm like, I could never watch another episode of this ever again. But like, I do enjoy it watching the people yell at each other.
That is always fun, and I'll give credit where credit's due. Bill Maher, generally speaking, does a pretty good job of allowing a mixed bag on his show and actually giving
Yeah,
them an opportunity to speak. Like, because God, how many times has Ben Shapiro been on his show? Like,
yeah, yeah,
it's been a
yeah.
fair amount. It's been a fair
That
amount, and like he had DeSantis on, and like I'm sure that if Trump would come on, he would have him on, but I don't think that's ever going to happen. I was shocked when Trump went on Joe Rogan. I was legitimately shocked. You know,
yeah,
that was
Joe
Bear and
Rogan.
Trump all day long.
Yeah, well, Joe Rogan was like he constantly insisted he wasn't, and then he said he would. Man, Joe Rogan's he's a fence sitter like us. He loves sitting on his fences. But he's the guy I go to where I'm like, oh, if he's saying something is off about something, the people who we need to listen are actually going to listen to him.
Yeah, that's true. And I do like, I'll tell you what, I think Joe Rogan would actually be a really good late night host, but he'd be very different. So I don't know
I
that he would be a
mean,
very good late night host because
I don't know.
I think
I
he
don't think he
just,
could get high. He likes getting high too much.
hey, if Kimmel and not Kimmel, if Fallon can get drunk, Rogan can just be
That
munching on an edible, you know.
that is absolutely true. Yeah, that is very true. Oh, you know who we haven't even mentioned? I said this on a podcast. I think with Haley. This is a controversial opinion. I don't hate James Corden. I don't hate him.
Get off. No, that
I've
he is such an
I've
asshole.
I well maybe personally, but just in terms of content, I liked a lot of the
Brother,
segments on his show.
he's not funny at all. I don't know
Yeah,
how he
I
got
don't
that
know.
gig.
I think it's maybe because I first saw him on Doctor Who. Like that was the first time when he showed up on late night. I was like, oh hey, it's the Doctor Who guy.
That's
And
funny. When
so
he first
I
showed up, who did he replace? I can't remember who he
he
replaced.
replaced Craig Ferguson. His
That's
show replaced
right.
Craig Ferguson.
Oh, okay. That's okay.
Which
To
is
be fair,
probably why you hate him.
that's well, no, I gave him a chance, but
He's no Craig Ferguson.
I tuned in and I was like, who the fuck is this guy? Where'd they get this dude? Did they pick him up off the street? He certainly looks like they picked him up
I
off
know
the street.
they got him off from across the pond. The
Well, I
same
mean,
reaction. She did. She had the same reaction. She's like, "Shut
Craig
up."
Craig Ferguson came from across the pond, just a little bit more north. But
I think it's
um,
because he has that kind of dry British humor that
no, here's the thing. Like
I don't know. I occasionally find him funny. I'm not gonna lie. Occasionally find him funny.
I okay, so I have I guess you could call it a gift. There's been a handful of times in my life, less than six, but I think it's about four, where I just saw somebody, whether it be in person or on TV, and I'm just like, I don't like you. I don't know why, but you're a dick.
That happens to me sometimes. Yeah, yeah.
And James Corden, I saw him on screen. I was like, oh, he's a dick.
I just
I have no reason to believe this,
see.
but
I have a video coming out on my channel with this title. Not Danny Masterson. Danny McBride. I cannot stand Danny McBride. And anything. Just I can't stand him. He's annoying. So I get what you mean. I do get what you mean.
I'm ambivalent. I'm ambivalent about Danny McBride. I don't hate the
Yeah,
guy,
we
but
watched 30 minutes or less and just was like, every joke he comes out of his mouth is a dumb gay joke that's not really all that funny. But yeah, like I watched Peter Rabbit for our show and I won't lie and say that movie. I did laugh a few times. I thought it was funny. So
yeah, but he
like,
didn't write it, or did he?
no, like, but there was moments on his late night show, like one of his thing popped up where it was him and the Jonas Brothers, and it's like the Jonas Brothers are doing this thing, and then he comes out in a stupid wig. It's like, oh, and James Corden is here, and it's like, yeah, that makes me cringe, but like, yeah, won't lie and say I don't quote. I think it became a meme at one point, but it's one of the carpool karaoke's where it's him and Justin Bieber, and he starts to sing, and Justin Bieber goes immediately no, immediately no. I'm telling you, I've heard what I needed to hear, and I say that all the time. I'm just like immediately no. Like I'll just turn off a video and I'll be like immediately no, immediately no. Like if I hear a bad cover or an impression, I'm like immediately no.
Well, I think I mean I just to shit on Kimmel before we go into the first sponsor segment, but like I don't know how he got the job.
Oh,
I don't find him funny at all.
that I could tell you. That I could. Hey, I mean, we'll do a sponsor, and I'll tell you the history of Kimmel. I do know the answer to that.
Well, one thing I can tell you, yeah, is that, after you're done watching the podcasts and you're wondering, what do I want to do the rest of the night? Yeah, you can play WWE Supercard. Yeah. Actually, it's a pretty cool game. I'm not going to do the impression the whole time because Heard myself lapsing into a Brooklyn accent for some reason. Don't know why.
I was gonna say bordered on Marlon Brando there, but it's
That's
tell me about
like
this game, Jake.
you can play WWE Supercard, yeah. And no, it's
So
actually a really, really interesting mobile game, which is now a sponsor for Down the Middle and all the other podcasts on our network because Arate represent you like that. It's different. It is essentially because, funnily enough, I used to play a lot of Magic the Gathering. I played Yu-Gi-Oh! I played Pokemon cards when they were a big thing, and I kind of miss the trading card aspect. I was really more of a collector than a player, but I did play. So WWE Supercard is basically a trading card battle game, but in your phone. And I like the collecting aspect of it, and you can do a bunch of other things. You can combine cards to make them stronger. You can fuse cards together to create rarer ones. You get a ton of rewards, so you get packs, booster packs, just like you did back in the 90s when we actually had to physically buy the cards. And you can buy cards in this game if you want to. It's probably the only way you're going to be able to get some of the rarer cards. Drag, I know, but we live in a digital world, not to be confused with Digimon who are the champions. But
you could
the
be the
game,
champion.
the gameplay is actually fun. I was a little, not gonna lie, I was a little surprised by that. I thought it would get old fast. Um, but yeah,
No, games like that never do. They're always weirdly addictive.
it's odd, right? Because
You
I
find
sometimes I open it up, just be like, I'm just gonna get my reward, and I'm like, well, oh, I got that card. I kind of want to use that card, and then I end up playing for
yeah,
like 15, 20 minutes,
I
and
got
ah,
I got really into a game that's similar to this, but it's not the same one called Animation Domination. And it's this, yeah, they're weird and fun and addicting. You're like, one more match, just one more match.
but here's the best part. It's absolutely free to play. You can make in-app purchases, but it is not one of those BS freemium games. Like you don't have to pay anything if you don't want to, and it's still fun to play. You're not gonna have to pay for upgrades. It's legitimately fun. So you can download it for free, but do us a favor and use the link in the description because that tells WWE that we sent you, yeah. So you can play Supercard and snub into a Slim Jim.
That's the bottom line because we said so.
Can you smell what the Rock is cooking?
That WWE super the name of the thing he
Supercard.
said supercard supercard.
Yeah. Okay.
We cut that promo like a couple of champs. Get
Like
those boys on a mic.
like mid card from the AWA champs though.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah. Hey, in its heyday, maybe more like WCCW,
Yeah, I'll still take it.
modern day NWA. Some of those promos are hard to watch. Anyway, some of those late night shows are hard to watch too. But going forward and to answer,
Kimmel.
well, yeah, okay. So
How
why
did
do you
Kimmel get
like
the job?
Kimmel? Explain. Riddle me
I
this.
okay. First of all, the Kimmel show was like a ragtag. It was on ABC. Nobody watched it. They just like
You
he
mean like
like the
now?
whole yeah. Well, yeah. When it started off, it was like a tiny like little engine that could show, and the reason for like the Matt Damon joke was that he just said a famous person's name because he was desperate. So like I don't think anyone gave it when you're like, how could anyone give him this institution of a show? He made it an institution of a show over the years, just being like, or if you're like, how did he get this gig? There wasn't really much of a gig to be given, I guess is maybe it wasn't like it was this it wasn't like Conan taking over the Tonight Show. He created this and he
Well,
built it
which
into what it is for better or for worse.
he didn't do though. But that's another
No.
story.
No, yeah, yeah. Oof. And that's the
That
one
got
with
ugly. That got ugly.
I like Kimmel because of that. I've always respected Kimmel because because he took Conan's side basically. He was uh the rebel out there being like because standing with Conan was the thing, not Conan, with Jay Leno was the thing. Everyone kind of stood with Jay Leno, or was neutral. So Kimmel, I think Kimmel interviewed, I think it was Kimmel who got Leno and like actually went after him on his show. I'm pretty sure that was Kimmel. So
I
Kimmel
would have
and
to look
Kimmel
that
was
up.
always a little. Now it's the easy thing to go for. I think he's put too much of himself and his personality into it. But he used to be kind of like him and Conan were kind of like out there as like the non-network late night talk show. Like they could say whatever. Like in spite of being on ABC, he could kind of get away with more, seemingly because I guess because he was still kind of the man show guy a little bit.
Yeah,
Now, as you point out, he's a
it's the curse of
yeah,
having an audience, honestly. So it's a
yeah.
double-edged sword. But actually, that's the main reason why I don't like Jimmy Kimmel. Like, I don't particularly find him funny, but I mean, everybody can tell a good joke here and there. But the main reason I really don't like him, and I looked this up to make sure I wasn't wrong this time because I learned my lesson. Sorry, Jimmy. Fallon, not Jimmy Kimmel. You can fuck right off, Jimmy Kimmel. Anyway, um, I just don't like how uppity he got. And like, I'm not saying Trump is like the greatest man ever, but I didn't like how uppity he got. And I'm like, those are really strong words coming from the guy from the Man Show.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like,
And
hey man,
here's the thing.
we've all been
Everybody,
shitty.
everybody always says the same thing. They're like, well, that was a long time ago. I'm like, yes, I understand that. But not only has Jimmy Kimmel never publicly acknowledged it and said, yeah, I was younger and trying to make it on cable. Like,
It was the 2000s. Everyone sucked. Jackass was a thing. That's always my go-to.
yeah. But not only did he never say anything, I actually found an article where he was interviewed and he doubled down and basically called people making that criticism stupid. And I'm like, well, no, they've got a point, and it would be different if you weren't so high and mighty. Like nobody's trying to make Adam Carolla answer for the Man Show.
No, no. I mean, but to be fair, Adam Carolla. Wait, he sucks, right? I'm pretty sure he sucks. I think he said
He's
something.
funnier than Jimmy Kimmel.
I think he said something that I was like, ah, I don't like that. I just don't remember what it was.
I mean, I'm
But
sure, but that's everybody. And I at least give Adam Carolla credit for like trying to stick up for like he's kind of like the less dignified Mike Rowe in
I could
terms
see,
of
yeah,
like
yeah, I could see the comparison.
he's pushing for like more blue, which there's a I'm sure it's the same in Canada, but I can say here there's a massive shortage of what is considered blue collar jobs like
Yeah,
mechanics, construction of all kinds, carpentry. Master carpenters will be extinct in 20
really.
years if something doesn't change.
Yeesh. Yeah, we have a
They won't
similar.
exist. They won't exist.
They There's a real push for blue collar jobs. Definitely, like you should go to trade school, which is
Well,
ironic, but
funnily enough, next week Eric and I are going to talk about a bunch of things that are like they're considered very traditional, at least in the West, right? Particularly the United States. And a lot of these things are like surprisingly new. And one of them is that push away from like blue collar industry and the obsession with, education, mostly post, like postgraduate, like
mhm.
I'm sorry, not postgrad, post secondary. So like college, essentially.
Yeah, yeah,
Because my generation, and I would wager to say yours too, because we're close enough together. So I should
yeah.
say our generation. We were the ones. We were right in the middle. We weren't the first. Like late Gen X was the first this was happening to, but we were right in the middle of school basically being treated as a conveyor belt for higher education, and we
Hmm.
all suffered for it.
In grade 10, they were already talking. We were in grade 10, and they're already talking about which university you should go to.
Oh,
And I was like,
bro,
I don't know.
they started that before middle school, I think, for us. Like it was
That's
insane.
that's what they're like. I can't stand when people are like, "Oh, there's no value in college." I'm like, "Well, but I mean, there's
No,
social
that's
value in college. I wouldn't be doing this if not for my 1 year of university."
and fair enough. I learned a lot of the stuff I learned, but I guess my point being is that at least
But in
for
an applicable sense to like making a job, no, this is not the university education I got did not help me get a job. That I will, yes, that I will concede.
well, it just comes down to like I'm not going to dig too far into this because this is next week, but it
Yeah.
creates a problem because you're right. College is valuable. I'm never going to say it's not. However, it is now so expensive that very few people, but they're starting to out of necessity. Nobody was really doing the cost benefit analysis. Like, not saying you would get nothing out of it, but if the field you want to go into only pays 30 grand a year and your college education is costing you 50 grand a year,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
that's not, and there's a lot of jobs now that used to not require a college degree that now do for some reason.
this could turn into a rant about higher education, and that's next week's topic, and that Eric is going to do that on my behalf.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, I don't want to dig too far into it. Um,
I'll be here in the chat giving my feedback.
what was my point? I had a point that I was bringing this up. Totally had a point. Oh, the blue collar jobs. But yeah, fortunately, I think just out of necessity, because one of the things I'm learning, because I'm also reading a book, The Fourth Turning. It's fascinating. I highly recommend. I'm going to be bringing it up next week too. Um, the longer I live, the more I see that history is cyclical.
Yep.
It's not a line. It's a bunch of circles that intersect with each other and not necessarily repeat verbatim, but the trends definitely do. Um,
I know what you mean. I've been
and
watching a lot of YouTube videos about old ancient history YouTube videos, and I'm like, man, things are sure are similar. It's weird.
Well, funnily enough, here's the weird thing, and this is kind of like my latest conspiracy theory, but I don't think it's a conspiracy. So a lot of the things that we value and consider normal are actually an anomaly historically that all came out of the economic boom of post-World War II America.
Interesting.
That economic boom was unlike anything that ever happened in history because there was only one superpower left standing, and it was because they weren't directly a victim of the war directly. That
Hmm.
being the United States and Canada tertiarily by proxy.
Yeah.
But like basically North America, because Mexico had other problems that made it not prosper as much economically, but that's another factor. But so like these ideas of like a single income household, for example, those are historically not traditional. So all the people that are arguing for these traditional values are actually arguing for a historical anomaly that is just was only made possible because of the economic boom that came because of
Hmm.
the Second World War.
Hmm.
Like these types of things are just historically not normal. And
Interesting.
we're starting to see trends going back. Like the idea that you don't have multi generations living in a household together, historically speaking, is super weird.
Interesting.
Like it's
Well, that you don't.
super,
So,
super
well,
weird.
but a lot of other cultures, though, that's not a abnormal thing.
But they didn't benefit from the economic boom after the Second World War.
Valid. No, that's a valid point. That's a good point.
Even you can even go back to the 1930s, and part of that was economically driven. I promise I won't go because this is going to be next week. But
Yeah.
like there was a bit of a surge because of the Great Depression, but it was still much more normal than for like like your parents if you had children, like your parents lived with you or at least one parent or like these cohabitate or like an in-law or something and actually
Yeah.
boarding houses were super common compared to now. So, like, I have you seen the series 11/22/63?
No.
You should. It's actually really good. But James
Oh,
Franco's
interesting.
character, multiple times in the 1960s, is living in a boarding house situation,
Oh,
and
interesting.
that's a nifty little historical fact. And like now, the concept of renting a room out to somebody as a tenant is like considered not weird's not the right word, but it's not normal.
Hmm.
When
Yeah.
it was much more normal.
I mean, my dad rented for years. It was just a room in a house.
Yeah, but historically that's normal. Well, I shouldn't say
Yeah,
normal.
yeah,
It's more normal than it's considered today. And we're going
yeah,
back
yeah.
to that though because there are economic forces driving that. But a lot of people view that as an erosion of like the tradition, but in fact that tradition was a weird anomaly that only lasted like 30 years at
Huh.
maybe
And
40.
the likelihood is it'll probably at some point come back.
Probably not to the same degree, but the more historical norms I just think out of necessity are going to. But one thing that's not coming back is late night as we knew it because of technology.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice
It's,
redirect. Nice redirect. Cyclical. I like it. I like it. I see.
it's like a circle.
I just. Well, to be fair, the internet's killing regular. I mean, I said this about Colbert when he admitted it when he said it aloud on his television show where where he was like, yeah, you're not watching this live on television. You're watching this on your toilet the next morning. That's killing television. Like it's not
It
just
is.
killing late night. It's killing television.
But
So like,
I must confess, and this is the old man in me, but because I was there and I knew what it was like, don't get me wrong, I love my streaming. I love being able to watch any episode of Star Trek that I want whenever I want because thank you Paramount Plus. But at the same time, it's like, do you remember the joy? Like you probably remember this, but the younger kids don't. Like the joy
Yeah,
of
I do.
when you were just channel surfing and then Back to the Future had just started and you were like, cool.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. We used to call it they're television edits. I had a Facebook status about this once where it was like, children today will never understand a television edit. They won't understand Liar Liar. They won't understand Jim Carrey being like, I'm kicking my butt. Like they won't get that. They won't get
Or
like
my personal favorite, watching Bad Boys 2 on TBS was
Peachtree
fun,
TV. Peachtree
funny,
TV is what it was called here.
funny for completely different reasons. Mother lover.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. The butchering the aspect ratio of movies would just get savaged, so it would look completely wrong. Like, yeah, it would take you no like kids today don't know the joys of taking 3 hours to watch an hour and a half long movie. Like
Right.
they don't get that.
Here's another joy that they will never experience, and this actually pertains to our friends at the Goosebumps Crew podcast. What year was that? I think it was 2004, 2005. Nick and I, because we went to at the time we were in the same Taekwondo school, and we went down to Kissimmee, Florida for the the USSSA national championships, and we were broke, so we went on that trip together. Um, so we flew down, and we were making the joke because like we were broke, dude. Like we weren't going to be able to do much other than hang out in the hotel room. And I remember the joke kept coming up that like, well, at least Gone in 60 Seconds will be on TV because Gone in 60 Seconds is always on TV.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
that was kind of like a joke that we referenced it like three or four times on the plane ride and the car ride down. And Justin, I'm not making this up. We get to the hotel room, Super 8, just world class
Skeezy as all hell.
accommodations.
Yeah, yeah,
It wasn't that bad. But he turns the TV on, and I shit you not, the title card for Gone in 60 Seconds came on the TV.
yeah. That's funny.
He will vouch
That's
for
funny.
this, and he'll also tell you about Osaka, the Japanese steakhouse that you should never go to in Kissimmee, Florida. At least if you're walking. Don't
Oh,
go there if
fair.
you're walking.
Because
Or if
it's
you're
a ways
sharing a
away from a toilet. Is that?
if you have your own hotel room, you might be safe, but um bro, he
But no,
tackled
yeah,
me because I had the key. I thought I was safe. I thought I was
I
sure. He waited for me to open the door and then he shoulder checked me. And so I had to go to the lobby. And what happened next, we won't talk about.
we'll leave it there.
I
But
came
no,
I came back and he's laying on the bed just dripping sweat.
I no, but yeah, no, kids these days they don't get we talked about it. A channel here got shut down was a channel called Family Channel, and it didn't have commercials. So like when you're watching a movie on like TBS, you would flick over to Family Channel during the commercials. Like kids these
Nice.
days, they don't get that. They don't get having a nice little backup channel that didn't have commercials that you could watch while the other channel had commercials
You
because they
know
don't
what
have
channel?
commercials.
You know a channel that I miss a lot, and I shouldn't because it had a very. I think it's actually I take that back. I think it's still on cable, but I haven't had cable in so long. Do you guys have a television station called The Hub?
I I think we do. Or I think it was I recognize the name. I think something here became the hub.
Yeah,
I
probably.
recognize the
Because
name.
I think something like that happened too. Actually, no, because ABC Family became Freeform, but The Hub was something else. You're correct. I think it was something Family. It was something Family. It wasn't
I
ABC Family, but it was something, and then it became The Hub. Great TV network. It was just old family television programming and like old
solid.
game shows that nobody ever heard of. It was great. But
Solid.
did you see there is now a streaming service? I can't remember the name of it, but it's nothing but like old educational cartoons.
No,
It's
I
got
did
like
see that Scholastic was doing something with their shows.
they are, but there's another one. Yes, Scholastic is unveiling a streaming service as well, which is why does nobody have Wishbone?
Nobody had, to be fair, I think that's because the rights belong. No, I think we talked about it. They're doing a movie. They're making a movie. Yeah. Oh, I seem to recall, or they're working on a movie, or I seem to recall talking about that on the show once.
If it's not called What's the Story Wishbone? Just
because I remember being like, how is that gonna work? Are they gonna like do a book or I love that show. That show is
Wishbone
the
is
only
so
reason
good.
I've ever read Frankenstein. It's the only
There
reason I've ever
is,
read Frankenstein or Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, for that
listen,
matter.
there is something to be said for a television show in which no actor is phoning it in,
No,
and still the best actor is a Jack Russell Terrier.
I watched the episode where they did Frankenstein for the show, and it is better than it has any right to be. All of the actors are putting in 110% when you remember they're just emoting to a little Jack Russell Terrier. It is the
If he's there
funniest
at
thing
all,
ever.
if he's there at all, because I got to
But that's
imagine they're not.
why
Yeah, but I got to imagine like if like I'm just gonna say because I know exactly the episode you're talking about, the Frankenstein, the one where they do Frankenstein, and at the
there's one where
end,
he grabs the dog by the haunches. It's so funny.
no, but I think it's at the end when he's like when the monster is asking Dr. Frankenstein to make him a companion. And like this guy shows up to set, and I'm sure like he's getting paid, but he's not getting a lot of money, and he just shows up and gives like
Oh, for
150%.
sure, for sure,
And
for sure.
it's
And
like,
the
and he's probably talking to a wall because in that particular moment I'm talking about, the dog's not in the shot. He's talking to the dog.
no, yeah,
So
yeah,
there's
yeah.
probably nobody. He's probably
Yeah.
talking to a wall, and I'm just like, whoa.
Well,
And
that's where I get
that's another byproduct of like television going away is all these character actors
oh
that
yeah.
they're just. I mean, I'm not saying they're gone, but they're
I mean, that's why I get bummed out by your president defunding PBS because I'm like, that's where I watched all that shit, man. Was PBS? Although no, I think I think
they'll be fine.
Wishbone, I think
Wishbone
Wishbone
was
was
on
on
PBS
Knowledge.
here,
Yeah, it was. I think it was on Knowledge Network here, but
probably.
PBS
Yeah.
adjacent, but still.
Well, but it
Um,
was. I'm sure that like many other shows of that ilk, I'm sure that was produced in Canada.
Yeah, oh yeah, it was produced in
Yeah.
Canada. Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because we talked about Bob Ross. If you want to talk about like things that wouldn't work in today's modern era, although Jordan made the argument it would just be on YouTube. But
This is
like
true.
a 30-minute, he made. I watched a documentary on him. He made like over like 1,000 episodes almost, or like 400. It's a crazy number of episodes of him painting paintings for 30 minutes, and I'm like, that just wouldn't exist on. You couldn't make that on television today.
Justin, I have a pitch for the spur of the moment.
Oh no. Okay. Okay. I'm listening.
Wishbone. What's the story Wishbone? A documentary.
That's solid. I mean,
It's good
that's
stuff.
solid. That's good stuff. It's a good idea. So surely someone out there has had the idea to do a documentary about Wishbone.
One would think, but we got a little off track with late night. The point we're
Late night
making, the point we're
television.
making,
Television is these guys are going to be on the internet. Like I don't feel bad for Jimmy Kimmel. I don't feel bad
oh, he
for
got
all
his
these guys
job
losing.
back.
He got his job back, but like
And Stephen
I don't.
Colbert won an Emmy. Stop crying. He's fine.
Yeah, well, exactly. He won an Emmy. Like you're not being censored, Stephen.
At
You won
the
an
end
Emmy.
of the day, don't tell me for a second that Stephen Colbert couldn't bring back the Colbert Report on YouTube and make
Yeah,
just as much, if not more money.
do what Conan's doing. Do a podcast like
For
Conan's
real.
doing. Like that's clearly it's I make like that's clearly where these guys want to be. They want to be on the internet where all
Well,
the money and all the popularity is.
but here's the thing, and this is why like I miss certain aspects of old media. I'm hoping that maybe kind of like how we're getting all the retro game systems now. I'm hoping that maybe we get like a free streaming service that has ads and is paid for by ads that's just like old TV.
That would be. Well, I mean, Tubi's kind of there. Also, I
It is,
think
yeah,
Retro
that's
TV
fair.
Land has a streaming service. I think.
That's true. And then like okay, for example, too, like the History Channel, their YouTube channel has a lot of their old like series that I really really liked.
Yeah.
Um
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, one of the things I respect about John Oliver is John Oliver, despite HBO's hatred of it, will just straight up post his show on YouTube. And I respect that. I respect that. Like to me, that's the future. Like
yeah.
that's understanding new media.
But here is the wonderful thing though, because marketing, or I should say marketing, advertising online is different. You don't need to have as large of a viewer base. However, ironically, you can have a much larger viewer base
Yeah.
if you play your
Well,
cards right. I mean, see Joe Rogan. But so I would, and also it's worth noting that the official, like for example, the official Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles YouTube channel has a continuous loop of the animated series that's just live all the
yeah.
time.
Yeah, and
I
that's
would
great.
really, yeah, I would, you know what I would love, truly? I would love a YouTube channel that just went through and replayed like all the Saturday morning television
That'd be pretty
loops.
rad. A
Like
lot of their individual channels do. They
they
do.
do, yeah, they effectively do. Because that is one thing that that's probably the only TV thing that I'm truly sad that like children of now and the future will not experience is the thrill of Saturday morning cartoons because it was just
Ah,
different.
man, yeah. It was different. It was very different.
It was a
But
totally different vibe.
my question to a person nowadays is when because we're on the to do the defensive side for late night. There's people who insist that people watch these things, and I refuse to believe that.
No,
I'm like,
because here's the thing.
are
They're
you
still
staying
tracking
up
through,
to 11:30 on a Monday night to watch Colbert? Like,
and you don't have to anymore. Like
no,
so and here's the thing.
that's the thing.
And we talked about this on the Final Frontier, the difference between Nielsen ratings and like actual ratings, which if your
Yeah.
show's online, you have real time ratings at any minute of any time on the show. The Nielsen boxes, if everyone who has a Nielsen box is watching your show, you get like a perfect score, but it's less than 2%. It's way less than 2%. It's like 0.1% of like the actual American public.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
very small number and it's a very, very rough measurement. So
I
but
do think.
When Joe Rogan gets 100 million views on a podcast, you know he's getting 100 million views.
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, there's like Colbert. I mean, I made this criticism of Colbert where they're like, oh, he's getting 40 million viewers, like in 1 quarter. I'm like, but he's doing triple that on his YouTube channel. So like, that's where the attention is. That's where the views are. No one's staying up till midnight to watch these shows. Like, who is? No one is. So
Only
it's so
stoners.
disingenuous. Yeah, only, and even then, but it's just so disingenuous.
Even then, they're watching YouTube.
They're watching YouTube or they're playing video games. It's just so
No,
disingenuous to
they're
me.
watching video games on YouTube.
Anyway, that's true.
Don't get me
It's
started on
it's
that.
it's disingenuous to be like, oh, um, people still watch this. Well, no, I refuse to believe anyone. I before the internet, sure, people stayed up and watched late night, but like I always say, like late night has always been an element of cringe. Like there is a clip of the guy who played Biff on Back to the Future doing stand up where he played tuba, and that's in the 1980s. And like, that's also cringe. That's its own kind of cringe.
I like that bit actually.
I I actually did like that. His stand up is actually really. Have you seen
His
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 special? His special is legit good.
his
It's
stand
legit
up is
funny.
actually quite funny. The song
Yeah.
"Stop Asking the Question."
Yeah. You know his daughter's song. It's my daughter. That's so good. So he's got a stand up special called Bigger. He's got so many bits I love where he's like I've got two modes. I've got rational and silverback gorilla.
I love the part of that song where he's like, "What's Crispin Glover like? Kinda weird."
Kind of weird. Yeah. He is kind of weird.
He's
That's a great late night clip of him. I'm strong. I'm strong. Where he nearly kicks David Letterman in the head. Classic late night. There's some good shit. I won't lie and say there isn't good shit on late night, but
well, and
yeah.
the other thing that was cool about late night, which again it's not like this anymore, but back when you had regular TV, is like if you were a musical artist and you made it
Oh, it
on late
was the
night,
way.
you were that meant you made it.
It's funny you brought up Jeff Dunham. I do I own his book? I listened to his book. I listened to the audiobook, which I highly recommend because if you've read the book, his autobiography, there's little sides from the characters, and in the audiobook, it's actually the characters. But he talks about how going on Johnny Carson, that's it.
Made
That
it, yeah.
make or break. And if he calls you over to the couch, that's you know you've made it.
I've heard him talk about that. I didn't read it in his book, but I've heard him talk about that. Jeff Dunham, on a side note, before we show everyone why they should tune into the Spur of the Moment podcast, Jeff Dunham might be one, and this is going to sound funny, but let me finish. Jeff Dunham might be one of the most underrated comedians ever because he's known for the puppets, but
I
everybody thinks he's just the puppets. But honestly, my favorite part of all of his stand-up specials are when he's just doing the bit.
I do enjoy his like he has an opener about I can't remember which special it was, but he has an opener on one of the specials about his daughter pumping gas that his daughter's pumping gas that was really funny.
Which one is it? I know exactly which one. I think that's the one where he did use Ahmed for the first time.
Some of the I will say Aquaman's not so bad because despite the fact that the character is racial, he doesn't make it racial a ton. The one that always made me go ugh was the pimp character, where I was like, oh
Yeah,
man. At the
I
end of the
never
day, you
really
just
cared
remember
for
he's
him.
a white guy doing blackface. It's like it's borderline a
Te
minstrel kind of thing.
Technically, it's Black Hand.
Black Hand. Yeah, I was always like, ooh, it feels weird having a white guy tell himself stay white. It's just, I don't know, the material didn't work for me. It just didn't work for me. It really didn't. And also in recent specials, he's gotten a bit like they tried to cancel me, and I'm like, Jeff, buddy, no one's tried to cancel you. Stop,
No,
stop,
they did not try to cancel you,
stop.
Jeff Dunham.
Actually,
Um,
it's funny. Me and Jordan
Although
were
I
talking
gotta say, when he converted Walter to Biden, that was some good stuff.
that. I mean, he has some of his recent stuff is really slow. But we were talking. Me and Jordan were talking about Guitar Guy.
Hmm.
Jordan just re-downloaded. I own his first album, like a physical copy of his first album. It's called Cougar Bait. It's on Spotify. It's so good. Like he's got a song called "Grandma is a Racist" that is objectively so fucking funny. Oh my god. Oh my god. We don't do recommendations here, but it's solid.
Well,
It's a funny music video.
I'm about to make a recommendation, and why you should, especially if you enjoy the musings of this fine fellow over here, you should check out his podcast, the Spur Moment Podcast. Cue the awesome bass track.
So today's episode is sponsored by the Spur of the Moment podcast, everybody. Come join us every Saturday. We're going to do this. We're going to sit here. We're going to talk about the news. Time to talk about the Minecraft trailer.
Okay.
It looks
So,
bad. We're going to talk about movies. That new Joker movie is apparently terrible, and I want to see it so badly because I hear it's awful. And we're going to make some jokes. We're going to have some laughs.
There's a lot of funny jokes in there. There's a lot of weird jokes in there. The Channing Tatum one will always make me laugh. Especially when you hear the behind the scenes stuff. Like when you hear the behind the scenes story of how they just phoned them up.
We're occasionally going to have other people along for the ride.
A really fun fact, though, is I learned last year that that Coraline was Leica and not Disney.
Oh, interesting. I mean, I can see why you would make that
Yeah.
mistake. Yeah. Because it does seem like it's a different. And to be fair,
That would be a horrifying, terrible Disney movie.
it would be because yeah. And we're just gonna have a generally good time. George, do you have anything else you want to say about our podcast? Make people watch it.
We watch movies. Sometimes we watch shows. But we always have fun.
Here
On the
Okay,
spur, on the spur,
on
on the
spur.
3, 2, 1. On the spur of the podcast moment.
Yeah, we nailed it. Nailed
Spur
it.
of
That's
the
what
Moment podcast. Yeah.
yeah. It's Spur of the Moment podcast every Saturday. We nailed it.
You can expect awesome content like that.
We cut flawless promos every single week. Yeah, nobody knows.
So you should definitely check out the Spur of the Moment podcast. And I've appeared occasionally. I'm due to come back on your
You
show.
are due.
Actually.
I've been waiting. I have some ideas for you that I'm like, hey, you want to come on? But you did the whole you got married thing, and you were busy doing that, and you did a whole like moving places thing, and then you're busy with that.
And we're gonna be moving again, but like things have calmed down sufficiently. As you know, we started actually. Shit, the Final Frontier should have been the sponsor of this episode, but whatever. We're back in October. FYI,
We're gonna be
so
back talking about Star Trek with 20% less jokes about bodily fluids.
less
I'm kidding. It's probably gonna be more.
20% more.
If anything, it's
So
gonna be 20% more.
yeah, just a quick little Final Frontier podcast on YouTube. Set your facers to fun, watch long and prosper, and check it out. Along with the Spur of the Moment podcast. That's the best thing is we got a lot of podcasts. If you're into anything, you're gonna find at least one podcast that you
We
like.
got a podcast for everything.
And
Yeah,
there's more
we
coming.
promise to keep our podcast shorter because they're getting unwildly over there.
You guys do run for a while, and like there was one time where like I legitimately needed to go, and I probably stayed on an hour longer than I should have. But
Oh no, we're bad. We're bad. And we're trying to we're working on an alternative format which allows for people to be on the show for shorter. So, hey, maybe we can talk to Goofy and not be like, hey, you want to come commit to a 4 hour endeavor? Don't want to do that. So we're like, how do we simplify and condense this down to like, an hour?
Unfortunately, which this would be, I'm not suggesting you do this. This would be way too much work. But like if you recorded and edited your podcast, you could trim, but I wouldn't do that if I were you.
No, no, the spur of the moment will never be unedited. We love improv too much.
Well, and
So,
it's in the name. The spur of the moment kind of implies that it has to be live.
yeah,
It's
yeah. But
yeah.
yeah, I know because we're getting a little jealous of the other guys interviewing celebrities. We're like, we want to interview a celebrity. I want to talk to a person who's written a book. That sounds sweet. How do we do that?
So that is actually that is in the goal. Speaking of ever changing media, the goal for 2026 is to kind of expand the reach of the podcast network. I have some things that are cooking that may or may not pan out, but because like we're kind of sort of loosely working with the Goosebumps crew on a couple of things, maybe. But the convention may
Oh,
have
oh,
changed everything. It may have changed how that picture looks. There's other stuff happening in association with Force Sand Corp that may or like those things may affect the podcasts and our reach. We don't know yet. It's a lot of it in the infant stages. Um, but yeah, there's a lot of things that are pending. For one of which being is that as soon as humanly possible, this show will once again be in studio in Eric's house.
that's
We're
exciting.
we're
That's
almost there.
exciting.
Because I'm not gonna lie, some of the magic of the show disappears when it's on Zoom. It's
For
a
sure.
little.
For sure. Like I mean, even with me and Jordan, when we're in person, our timing is way. But occasionally Jordan gets a zinger on the show. Like it's like you still get the occasional. Like I will say, you commented on the blackfish joke that got me. That was solid.
Oh, that was so
That
good.
was that was that was solid. Like you gotta respect a good one. I was like, we had to stop the show for that. It was like
The
that's solid.
best thing about Jordan when he does jokes like that is because he delivers such a like unassuming, like he doesn't cue it up as like, what's funny. He just
Yeah, yeah, I
goes
know.
into it,
Exactly.
and then you're like,
So good. One of the best improvisers I know.
oh,
Oh my
Justin,
goodness.
with the guess I get, I can never do. Yeah, but your show's different, Haley. Your show is
Yeah,
more
yeah,
of an interview style. This is more of a riff.
yeah. Like
Like
I
you
would
you
love
do it
to have
proper. You sit down with questions and important people, and we sit here and make funny noises with straws.
we make at least one joke about bodily fluids an episode.
No, that's Final Frontier.
Oh, that's Final Frontier and the spur of the moment. Spur of the moment is mostly dick jokes. I'm not even gonna lie.
I mean, there's a fair amount of dick jokes in the Final Frontier.
Or,
Stay
or
tuned.
it's or
Stay
it's
tuned for
telling you
the.
about movies you've never heard of.
This is true, but stay tuned. By the way, for the first episode of the Final Frontier, you get to watch Spock go through puberty.
Vulcan, you called it Vulcan puberty.
This is
I'd
true.
like to.
It's not Vulcan puberty. If anything,
Not quite.
It's
It's
Vulcan
not
heat.
quite.
But we did make the joke about post Ponfar clarity. So
Look forward to that. That's
yeah.
I'm excited for that show to come back. I love doing it. I love the spur of the moment, but it does. It's Final Frontier. I think it's because I actually write jokes on that show. So like all Final Frontier, it is. I mean, it's a good chunk of it is improv. Like a lot of that is improv, but a big chunk of it is like that's me. That is if you ever wanted to see me do stand up, like that's my process. It's writing stand up.
Well, and to bring it back full circle before we hop off here and let you guys do whatever it is you're doing this
Yeah,
evening, probably looking up, you know, Stephen Colbert clips.
watching zombie movies. That's what I'm doing after
That'll be
this.
fun. What are you watching?
It's a movie called Fido.
Is that a zombie dog?
It's it's a Canadian movie, Canadian comedy horror movie. It's I don't I remember it from when I used to work at the movie theater. It's something to do with they have zombies as pets.
Hmm.
It's as I recall, quite funny. I watched a really bad Scooby-Doo movie this morning, so I'm hoping it's better than that.
Wait, hang on. Which one was a bad Scooby Doo movie?
It was called Return to Zombie Island. You know, Scooby-Doo Zombie Island.
Yeah. Oh, okay. As long as you don't say, oh God, what's the one with the witches?
Oh, the witch one, the one that has
Yeah.
Tim Curry in it. I think it's
Yes.
just called Scooby-Doo and the Witch.
Yes. Or
That one's
Scooby Doo and the
really
Witch's
good.
Ghost. Yeah.
Witch's
Scooby.
Ghost. That's what it is.
As long as you don't say anything unkind about Scooby Doo and the Witch's Ghost, we'll be fine. But yeah, Tim Curry in that is
Oh, it's so
delightful
good. Yeah,
because Thelma.
Tim Curry is never bad in anything.
He's
He's one
not.
of those. He's one of those.
It's
Him
not
and
possible.
shit, the Tooch, Stanley Tucci, never bad in anything.
This is
But
true.
Scooby Doo and Zombie Island is the first one in that run of like, what if the ghosts were real movies? And it's like honestly one of the best Scooby Doo movies. And the one I watched this morning was basically like. I basically took a steaming dump all over it. You have to tune into the show on Sunday to find out what I thought of it because
I
I
know.
watched it for the show.
Yeah, I feel your pain. I have a lot of Godzilla to watch and catch up on
Oh yeah,
because
that I have to do. I have to tack that on top of my. I said to Jordan, maybe we'll do a Godzilla episode, so I have an excuse to watch a bunch of them in a week, just so I can
I've
power through a bunch of them.
I've got a lot. Currently towards the end of Invasion of Astro Monster.
See,
That's early. That's early in the filmography.
yeah, we're gonna have to chat about what the mechanics of this are. So I know how many we watch. We can't do all of them, can we?
Yes,
Are we gonna do
we
all of them?
must. We must do all of them.
Isn't there 38 of them?
No, I think there's 34.
34?
It's
Okay,
30
okay,
something.
okay, okay. I'm just like, do I need to rewatch all of because
No, I
I
would say
watched
if you so the only guidelines I have is you have to have seen, well, it's I guess it's one guideline is you
have
have
we
to have
seen them?
seen it in the original Japanese because a lot of these movies I've seen, but
Gotcha.
in the crummy
Okay.
English
So I
dubs.
can skip straight to the Heisei era then? Because that's where I left
Yeah,
off.
yeah. Well, because like for example, I've seen King Kong versus Godzilla, but I never watched the Japanese version, so I watched the original Japanese version.
Oh,
Not gonna lie,
gotcha.
to give you a preview of what this episode of the Arte podcast is gonna be. If you're over the age of 7, King Kong versus Godzilla is not a good film, but the original Japanese, it's I mean it's not the best, but it's got moments.
I think I watched it when I did the whole this whole thing off first Arte podcast. I watched it for that. I'm pretty sure I watched the Japanese version.
Yeah, that is
And
why
it's
that's
it
actually why we're doing it because it is the I think that yeah, it was 2 years ago that we did our first
God,
podcast ever together.
that was my very first podcast ever. Every time you post clips of it, it makes me cringe.
No, not really. It was a solid podcast, but
Oh, I mean,
we're
I can see
also
what you
going
would
for
say
the
that.
title. We're going for the title on that one.
All right.
I think the time to beat is like 5 hours and 45 minutes.
All right, all right. Yeah, me and Jordan, we've hit 5 hours, so I've gotten pretty good at just talking. So
Well, I think Average Intelligence actually holds the record for the longest podcast episode we've done, but that was a live election night coverage, so that was
wasn't it like 12
that,
hours?
no, it was just shy of 7.
7. That's
No,
still
maybe it
long.
was shy of 7 or shy of 8. I think it was
That's
7.
more.
I think it was like 7 hours 42 minutes.
That's
Because
more than me and Jordan did.
every time we thought about just calling it, something would happen, and then we were like, well, now we got to watch. But yeah, now we're reaching the stage where we're rambling. Late night is
Yes.
dead. It's never coming back. Watch the internet, kids.
Watch the internet. The internet's the future. TikTok is the future, kids. At least that's what your fearless leader says.
Oh, Matex. Thanks for joining. And yeah, yeah, we talked about Charlie Kirk a couple times, but Eric couldn't make it tonight. There's legitimate thing happening, which I don't want to say there will be details, but I don't know what details he wants to reveal. But long story short, he's getting into it with his kid's school hardcore.
Oh, oh
So they
my.
had conferences tonight and tomorrow. So he will be
Oh
here
my.
next week. And unless something really newsworthy happens, we'll do that, historical trends thing I was talking about. Unless something crazy happens, in which case we will talk about that.
The only crazy thing I could possibly think of is your government shutting down. That would never happen.
That's not crazy.
Just jokes, Jake. Jokes. They're jokes.
I know. Don't threaten me with a good time. Me, I don't play guitar at all. Eric
Eric plays a
plays Eric plays a pretty decent guitar.
he plays pretty good, decent guitar. I maintain the funniest joke you guys ever did, in my opinion. It makes me laugh every time. Is the opening to your Batman review, where it's just you guys looking sullenly at the camera, and then Eric slowly pulls out the guitar and starts to play something at the Nirvana song.
The best part about that is
Uh,
so this is what happened right before he was stream. He literally said, "I got an idea for the intro. Just go with it." So I had no idea what he was gonna do.
It
He said,
was,
he said, just sit there. He said, just sit there and look ahead. I'm like, all right.
it
And
was
then he
funny. It
just,
legit was funny. I was like, it makes me laugh. So good. Oh, it's so good. So funny.
he still makes that joke, and it still makes me laugh.
It's still funny. But by the time the second one comes out, he'll be able to play the whole song.
I think he's very close. What's my favorite anime? Hmm.
I mean, the white answer is to say Dragon Ball Z.
Okay, so there's
I'm kidding.
no, because here's the thing. There's nostalgically, you could make an argument for Dragon Ball Z. However, I don't think I could pick just one because I'm not super into anime anymore like I used to be.
No, there's some
Uh,
that I'm super. There's one. It's called. They're all Sentai related, but there's one. Oh, it's called My something Red Ranger, and the premise of it is it's a isekai, but it's like from a Sentai, like a Red Ranger from a Sentai team. He gets transported into like a fantasy world, and
nice.
there's one point where he like summons his like mecha to like fight to solve a minor problem. It's really funny.
Dude, I honestly like I'm thinking and I don't know.
It's like of all time.
See, here's the problem with anime though, is and this is deep dive for the kids. So anime in the States and in Canada, I would wager, like in North America, is considered a genre in and of itself. And in all actuality, anime has like probably at least a dozen hard genres.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, isekai is one of them.
Superman would beat the living shit out of Aquaman.
It's true. I mean, it
Like
depends on the version of Superman.
there's no depend.
And
The only exception is are they fighting on a planet with a red sun? Because then Aquaman has a distinct advantage. But I'm
sure.
assuming on Earth, no, Superman would wreck Aquaman's shit.
I mean, yes, yes, he would.
Because here's the thing.
Like,
The worst thing Aquaman could do to Superman is stick a blue whale on him, and Superman can lift said blue whale. So
I mean, he can make a shark eat him, but then obviously Superman could burst
do
out
you
of the
do
shark like
you
a chest
really
burster.
think
So
do you really think that a shark bite would affect Superman?
no.
So my favorite animal. Can we do a podcast where people just ask me questions? I would
We'll,
love
we'll
that.
just we'll just yeah. No,
No, but I
favorite
do want
animal.
to. I'll give you favorite animal, but I do want to throw out some honorable mentions for the anime, like some big ones. I think Attack on Titan, especially the earlier seasons, are really not to say like the later
Is
seasons
it?
are not bad, but like
I've heard that
talk
gets
about
bad.
talk about a tonal shift though. Like that show becomes
Yeah,
something
yeah.
entirely different, and I like it. Yu Yu Hakusho's up there. Um,
Solid. I mean,
the
I can't Ultimate Muscle. I love Ultimate Muscle.
If you're looking for comedy, Ultimate Muscle's up there. There's one you may or may not have seen called Elfin Lied.
No, I don't. Doesn't sound.
If you feel like a good cry, watch Elfin Lied. Not for the kiddos though. Yeah, Attack on Titan is solid. I have some beef with some of the character designs, particularly in the manga. It's worse in the manga. Some of the art style, like the teeth are a little too like drawn square for my taste, but there's yeah. Um, there's some others like believe it
Anything
or not.
by Miyazaki, it's hard not to recommend
Those
like a
see
song.
those are that's cinema though. I mean
Yeah,
like it's technically anime, but I consider that different. Like obviously you got Dragon Ball. Like OG Dragon Ball is actually really really good. A lot of
it's a
Americans
it's
slept on it.
they really did. I mean, a lot of people don't know that it exists, but it's OG Dragon Ball is still good. Like
And
it's
I'm
funny.
gonna
It's
say I will also always stick up for the original Digimon, like the first couple of seasons.
does it require sticking up for?
Okay, so here's the thing about Digimon. A lot of people rightly point out that it's a well, actually no, it's not a Pokemon ripoff. It's
No, not even
coincidental.
remotely.
Well, it's coincidental timing is all it is because they are
Yeah,
completely separate. But
there's
so
similarities, but like they're really not the same.
well, you could actually make the case if you look at a timeline, Pokemon would be more of a Digimon ripoff, but they're
Little
not.
bit.
They're completely separate.
Yeah.
They're
Like
they're
like
separate
Digimon is
things.
more about in terms of I mean, it's a Tamagotchi. That's what it's based on. But it's in its original inception more about caretaking. Like the original Digimon games
Yes,
are about caretaking than they are capturing things.
this is
So
correct. Yes. But
yeah,
there are some moments for a kid's show. There's some moments that get pretty dark and like
the
not overly
third
so.
season's incredible. Like
Oh,
the third
dude,
season's incredible.
the culmination of the second season where they're looking for the eighth child. Bro, talking about television, that was an event. My
That
friends
was
and I
finding
were
that eighth.
talking about that. They're like,
Yeah,
"Who's the eighth child?" And like most of us were like, "It's clearly Kari."
I remember they did I talk about television. Yeah, Fox Kids. I remember it was a Super Bowl, like the bumpers were all Super Bowl promotions. But I
Yeah,
remember when Venom Myotismon showed up and they had all the promos for it and they were like hiding what he looked like and it was like this big
yeah.
mystery that he was coming back. Yeah, yeah.
No, it
It's an absolute
was.
event.
And then the sacrifice of Gatomon to become Anjouamon, which was awful, awful name. But I mean, it's and the end of season one where Patamon finally digivolves.
Oh,
Like
really,
that's a
really
solid
gratifying. Yeah.
moment. It's a solid
Yeah.
moment.
Also, I
Um,
always say he would be the lamest Digimon if not for the fact that he turns into one of the coolest ones.
but
Just
that's
saying.
what's cool about I love the memes that are like Pokemon evolution and it makes sense, and then like it's a Digimon evolution, and then it ends up being a refrigerator with a machine gun.
What if the little fat one turned into the angel? Somebody was like that. He turned into the angel and he had beautiful wings.
But yeah, I'm also an Inuyasha stan. Yes, it is too long.
Oh, I have friends who absolutely love Inuyasha.
You know what? I think if I'm gonna go with everything, and this is gonna surprise people. I think if I'm gonna pick an anime series where I consider all factors being genre, animation, story, all of it, and like the best on average, I think you can make a solid case for Fruits Basket.
I've also had friends recommend that as well. Ranma and a half is another one I've had people.
I really like the new release with the new animation.
I've been tempted by it.
It's
Probably
very
for
good.
my
It's very
next
good.
anime, especially I'm going to watch it.
Here's the only problem with Ranma One Half and Inuyasha is once you become acquainted with the works of Rumiko Takahashi, you realize she recycles a lot. She recycles
Yeah,
character design, she recycles plot beats, she recycles gags. Like
yeah. But I
I've
mean, Japan's
seen,
like that.
I mean, and then
Or I should say, can be like that. I should say.
hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I mean, I
Um,
love Inuyasha because it's got one of my all-time favorite Gokus in it, Kirby Morrow. I mean, he's probably my favorite Goku.
Solid. And like, sorry, not sorry. Richard Ian Cox plays Inuyasha extremely well.
You know right now, my friend Leanne, check out our tape podcast interview of Leanne. She was either friends or she met uh Richard Ian Cox a bunch of times. Said it was very nice. Or I might be thinking of Sam Vincent, but those
That's
they're all Canadian.
yeah.
Like they're
But funnily enough, speaking of television again, I remember when Adult Swim was actually tongue in cheek on itself, or was that Toonami? I know it was Adult Swim. That Inuyasha was on. They did a television commercial for Inuyasha that was just clips of Inuyasha and Kagome yelling each other's names.
amazing. That's amazing.
It was quite funny. And they also did one where it was just Moroku doing all the like, would you like to bear my children? But they like filtered it and put like a sexy saxophone backtrack to it.
That's awesome.
It was very funny. But yeah,
That's
those are just
awesome.
some highlight animes. But favorite animal, again, that's
Mm.
hard because I try not to be like a basic bitch about this, but I couldn't help it when I see a tiger in person.
Oh, I mean, they are a majestic animal. They
You
really
just can't
are.
help it. Close second might be Gator. I'm a big
I
Gator fan.
I do like I like animals that have a bad reputation. Gators a solid one. Sharks. I love
Yeah,
sharks.
I'm a shark guy.
Fuck
But if
Jaws.
yeah, and if you're talking domestic animals, I mean, I'm a dog and cat guy.
Oh my,
I'm an equal opportunity petter.
I love them both. I love all animals. Nothing will make me melt. Like I'm trying to
That's
make.
me, man.
I
Like I just love them
I
all.
got a Canadian goose who hangs out in my parking lot who's just chill. He's just I love standing there just watching him walk around. Him and his wife like to hang around our parking lot.
That's dope. Well, I was waiting to see if he had any more questions, but
That it?
I think he might be done.
Is that all the questions?
But please show up and ask random questions because it It's fun. But
It
yes,
is
so
fun.
and we're also we've been at this for a while, longer than I wanted, but the discussion warranted. But we are rambling, like I said. Um, if you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe. Go back and watch some of our older episodes. Got to get that watch time up because once we're monetized, we can bring you guys more content. And we're also working on premium content for the entire podcast network. More details coming. I'm not going to say soon because I don't know, but there's things we can do now that we
There's
couldn't
details that
before.
will be coming at a future date at some point eventually.
After right now. How long
After
after right now?
not at the moment currently, but sometime in the future, we will refer back to this moment we talked about later. That made sense. Don't think about it.
Anyway, thanks for watching. Have a great night. And don't forget to watch more internet, kids.